Back to the Baselines to Sidelines podcast. My name is Nick. I am the host today. Let's get into the show. Let's have some fun today. All right, so starting off, this is going to be a completely different episode than we have done in the past. I'm going to be talking about pretty much strictly football only. So we're going to be diving into the NFL. I know the AFC Championship is coming up. A lot of Broncos fans, Patriots fans, they're excited about this. We're going to dive into the Bo Nix injury and with Jarrett Stidham starting. And then we're also going to dive into a little bit of the Seattle versus Rams matchup going on as well. And then we're also going to be diving into who has the most legitimate shot to go to Santa Clara and go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. And then, we'll get into game predictions and injury report. So let's dive in and let's have some fun. So starting off, I think everybody realizes that, Bo Nix, he had that unfortunate injury. Going into it was technically the third to last play of the game when it was a quarterback keep and he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like a harmless play. You really didn't even see him limping until later on as they're getting ready to kick the game-winning field goal. You can actually see Bo Nix on the sidelines grimacing. I didn't think too much of it when I first saw it, and I don't think pretty much anybody else did, especially since he was able to do a few more plays after that injury happened. And then the Broncos kick the field goal, win the game, and then they do the press conferences. So from my perspective, a lot of my friends can even attest to this. I'm usually pretty in tune with Twitter and a lot of the social media updates, and I have some friends in media, so I stay pretty much in tune the whole time. And so, but this game, a lot of times during the games, or when the game ends, I put my phone away because it's just going to be press conference stuff. There's stuff to learn at a press conference, but not much. So I put that all away and I just tend to relax after a game. So I had no clue what was going on. And then I'm watching the pregame of the Seattle 49ers game, and they stop the pregame and they bring in their insider and they're saying, hey, they talk about the Broncos game and they're like bittersweet for the Broncos. And I was like, bittersweet? What are we talking about? And they go, Bo Nix is done for the season. And I'm like, they have to be pulling. I sat there and I was thinking they have to be pulling our leg, right? Like this can't be serious. And then I dive into Twitter, and sure enough, Bo Nix has a ankle break, and he's done for the season. And it's kind of nuts because, yeah, you look at it and you wouldn't have thought that was going to be the case with how Bo Nix was acting. And then you start to hear these other reports. He did an interview with CBS immediately following the game, still on the field, with Tracy Wolfson. And what we didn't see is apparently he was standing almost on one leg, not putting any weight on that ankle. But Tracy didn't say anything, really. But so that was, it's an unfortunate situation, but, in this league, I mean, in any league, it's it's next man up. You go to the next guy, and that's Jarrett Stidham. So to dive in, I mean, he's this will be his first start since 2023, because he started the last, I want to say 2 games. Yeah, 2 games of the season in 2023 after the Broncos had benched Russell Wilson. And so this is going to be an interesting one. I'm not saying that this could go one of 2 ways. Jarrett Stidham definitely has the potential to win the game for the Broncos. He's not going to throw, you know, 450 yards with 5 touchdowns. That's not his MO. That's not Sean Payton's MO, even though the Broncos have the most pass attempts in the NFL by a mile. You can look up the stat. I think the next closest team has 40 or 50 less snaps, less pass attempt snaps than the Broncos. So that's just, but that's still not Sean Payton's MO. And then one thing that I will say that Jarrett Stidham does better than Bo Nix is Jarrett Stidham throws over the middle of the field. He can do a lot of that intermediate over the middle go routes or the hitch routes, or you're not going to see a whole lot of deep posts or like a stick nod happen. It's more going to be like a shallow cross, those intermediate routes that are going to be over the middle. That's going to be more Jarrett Stidham's bread and butter. So I'm kind of interested to see how Jarrett Stidham does against that New England defense. That New England defense is one that very similar to the Broncos defense. They like to get pressure. They like to attack with that front four. They will blitz at times, but that front four has gotten home just rushing 4. So that's going to be one interesting one to watch. It's going to be, this is going to be one to heavily rely on the run game. And the Broncos practice report came out because earlier in the week, J.K. Dobbins, who had the Les Frank injury 2 months ago, his practice window was opened up, but he was not cleared to go. He was a limited participant pretty much the whole week, which when your practice window gets opened up, usually that first week back is a slow ramp up, and then the next week would be a full go practice. So to say when a lot of people heard J.K. Dobbins' practice window get opened up, they're like, "Oh, we're getting J.K. Dobbins back. This is going to be so great." And that's just not the case, because that first week is treated almost like a training camp, kind of like a fast-paced training camp where they're not full go. They're not going to be full go. So I was not surprised to see on the injury report today that the Broncos had said he was out. He's going to be out for this game. Now, speaking of injuries, Bo Nix, going back to Bo Nix, based off of what I've been hearing, and I know a couple of radio stations have interviewed some orthopedic doctors. One orthopedic doctor, I'm hearing a lot of 4 to 6 months is going to be that main timeline. So he'll probably miss. I mean, he's absolutely out for this season. He might miss OTAs and some of training camp. So that'll kind of hinder a little bit of his off-season work. But overall, it's looking like it's going to be more we'll see him go in training camp. There was one talk that the way the spiral fracture is sounding like a spiral fracture in the upper fibula or in the lower fibula. There was kind of this tongue-in-cheek talk from one of the docs that if fitted right with plates and screws, that he'll be good to go if the Broncos make it to the Super Bowl. From everything else I am reading, I would be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked if Bo Nix is good to go. Now, if that's the case, I mean, I can't do a backflip, but I will sure damn try. I will do. That is one of those where you want to. You want your QB1. You absolutely want your QB1, but I also don't want to make his injury worse. So I don't see a way where Bo Nix is going to be going if the good to go if the Broncos make the Super Bowl. Like, and even then, there's no way his mobility is going to be the same, and the Broncos have been utilizing him in the run game. Heck, I think 3 out of the past 4 games, Bo Nix has been the leading rusher in the game instead of the running backs. So why bring Bo Nix out there in a limited capacity if he can't even go, if he can't run, when he's not really a pocket passer? He is one where he likes to slide and move around in the pocket or escape and go on a boot or move around and actually get out of the pocket, use his legs. So there's just no way. If the Broncos move on in a couple of days, because I'm recording this on Friday, and it'll be uploaded either Friday night or Saturday morning, but there's just no way I see if the Broncos move on and go to Santa Clara, go to the Super Bowl, there's just no way I see Bo Nix coming back for that. Now that that's over, we've talked about the Bo Nix injury. Everybody and their mother has talked about the Bo Nix injury. It's time to move on, and it's time to talk about Jarrett Stidham. It's time to talk about this Denver-New England game. And my thing is with Denver, and you could call it cliche, you can call it whatever, unless you stop the run, especially with Stevenson in the backfield, you are not. If you can't stop the run with this New England team, you're not going to win the game. It's going to be a long day for you. If they're able to extend these drives, have 10, 12, 15 yard or 15 play drives, you're not going to have a good day, and it's not going to be a good day for the Broncos. So the Broncos have to stop the run if they want any shot. And that defense can. They have given up a lot of rush yardages in the past. This has not been a super great run stop defense, but they can stop they can stop the run at times when it is needed, and I hope that continues to be the case and that they can stop them. The other thing is going to be make Drake May uncomfortable, give him happy feet. The Broncos have one of the best pass rush defense in the league, so they need to get downhill, get to the quarterback, get at his feet, make him uncomfortable in the pocket to where he is having to throw the ball earlier than he wants to or bail out of the pocket quicker than he wants to. He's not a super mobile quarterback. Can he get out of the pocket and run? He can, but he is not one of those where he's just going to take off and run like a Justin Herbert, a Bo Nix, Lamar Jackson. He's not one of those players. So I see him, if the Broncos can make Drake May uncomfortable, they have a they have a better than good shot. Because Jarrett Stidham, the one thing with Jarrett Stidham is he's really going to try to protect the ball. He's really going to try to make sure that he does the right throws and the more calculated throws. And he's going to go through his reads a little bit more. I'm not saying he's better than Bo Nix, because Bo Nix won the starting job in training camp last year for a reason. He is absolutely QB1, and there is no doubt about it. You cannot argue about that. There are things that Jarrett Stidham just does a little bit better than Bo Nix. One of the things is Jarrett Stidham will stand in the pocket and make his reads, for some of my non-football nerdy people. You have read 1, read 2, read 3, sometimes read 4. So say read 1 is a post over the middle. Read 2 is a shallow cross, read 3 is a dig, and read 4 is a go route. So say read 1 is, they brought the safety over, it's double covered, you're not going to throw there. Read 2, shallow cross, they brought another safety down, and they brought the safety down plus a linebacker. There's just, the middle is too muddy right there for the shallow cross. Now, let's say read 3. I'm not even going to go to read 4, because read 4 is more of a, I don't want to call read 4, even say the go route for a read 4, because that's, read 4 is usually probably like a dig or a curl route, somewhere, something that's more of a dump off, like I need to get the hell out of here. Where's my dump off? Where can I just drop it off to that player, get a couple of yards, and get out of here? So read 1, read 2 are covered. You have read 3. Well, read 3, depending on the route, is going to take a minute to develop. Plus, you're already going read 1, read 2, read 3. Bo Nix is so wired about not taking sacks and not giving up interceptions that if read 1, read 2 is covered, a lot of times he's bailing out of the pocket and he's taking off. Jarrett Stidham will stand in the pocket a little bit more, let the play develop, let the play breathe, and either go to read 1, say read 1 opens up more because the safety gets beat or whatever, or he'll stand in the pocket a little bit longer for that 3 to 4 second range and have read 3 right there to be able to utilize. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a world of a difference, because I don't know what exactly, I can't predict what the Patriots are going to come up with as far as a game plan. I know they're going to try to make Jarrett Stidham as uncomfortable as possible in the pocket. Jarrett Stidham will hang in there for a lot longer than what Bo Nix will. So I'm excited. So that I'm kind of intrigued to see how that plays out up against this New England defense, because this New England defense is no slouch either. Now, because I will admit I'm a Broncos fan. When I was watching the game, the New England Houston game, I was slightly rooting for New England only because I am terrified of that Houston defense. That Houston defense is nasty. Absolutely, absolutely nasty. That is a top three defense that gets after the quarterback, gets turnovers, makes offenses have a living hell. So when I looked at this New England team, I said, okay, the defense is good. It's still absolutely good, but it's beatable. I don't know if I could have said that with the Houston defense. So those are kind of be my keys for Denver to beat New England. Now let's look at New England, because I'm going to try to be, and I can hear some people who are good friends of mine laughing because they realize how hard it is for me to be unbiased when it comes to the Broncos. But now let's move over to New England and what are the keys for them to beating the Broncos? I mean, number one, they're down QB1. The Broncos are down QB1. Make it uncomfortable. Yeah, Jarrett Stidham is a higher end backup, but he's still a backup. Make it uncomfortable for Jarrett Stidham and disguise coverages. A lot of it's going to be, put 7 in the box, but only rush 5. Make it look like you're in cover 3, but then you drop to cover 2. Disguise your coverages as long as possible to where Jarrett Stidham thinks he's looking at one thing, but he's actually looking at another. The Broncos do it all the time. I haven't studied enough of New England's film. I just haven't had the time. But I don't know how much of New England, if New England does disguise those coverages like that. But if they can do that to where they're confusing Jarrett Stidham, New England has a pretty decent shot. If they can make Jarrett Stidham uncomfortable, I mean, with as damn good of a quarterback as Drake May is, and with that lethal running game that they have, New England has a legitimate shot. I mean, I don't have too much to go over as far as the keys for New England to beat Denver. Because New England legitimately, I want to say they're 5.5-point favorites last time let me take a look at that real quick. All right. So this was posted about 17 hours ago. Oh, it actually came down. New England is a 4.5-point favorite. The open money line is New England is a 4.5-point favorite. So, I mean, it's not a huge margin, but I mean, it's there. The money line is saying that Vegas is saying that they like the Patriots. It's not like a couple weeks ago the Broncos were a 14.5-point favorite when they were playing the Chargers and the Chargers were playing their backups. This is, but this is definitely saying that right now the public is betting on New England. And I can't say they're wrong. When a huge team or when a good team like Denver loses their QB1, that's significant. And I still I'm still going to say it's going to be a close game. I'm not, and this is not my Bronco fandom trying to talk, you know, fairy dust into existence, but I legitimately like Denver's chances to at least keep it close. That defense is going to keep it close. I mean, look at what they did to Josh Allen and the Bills. And quite frankly, I was more scared of Josh Allen and the Bills than I was of New England. So the Broncos have a good shot. We'll see if they can pull it off or if New England can pull it off. But either way, it's going to be a fantastic game, and I like this a lot. Now, let's move over to the other side. You have the Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Rams. This is a volatile matchup because you have the pretty much the guaranteed MVP in Matthew Stafford up against the probably the most lethal defense in the league in the Seattle Seahawks. That defense, I mean, they're the shades of the Legion of Boom, man. I mean, that is probably one of the scariest Seattle teams I have seen in a handful of years. That defense, led by head coach Mike McDonald, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem for anybody. And I like the Rams, but it's going to be a cutthroat game. Just I don't see how, unless the Rams can keep the ball moving and keep Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold has had a hell of a resurrection of his career coming off of, he had a pretty decent time in Minnesota, and then he goes over to Seattle, and he's right now lighting it up with Seattle. He has had one hell of a resurrection of his career, and I like them a lot. That offense, now they are down a running back. I apologize, I forget which running back, but they have an absolute legitimate shot coming into the game. I mean, that defense is going to carry them. That defense is going to keep the Rams pretty busy all night. And I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game coming up with the Seattle Seahawks and LA Rams. This is going to be a fun one that I think it'll be close at first, but I really think the Seahawks are going to pull away with this one. So I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong, because I want it to be a good game. I'm not saying I'm rooting for, well, I can't totally say that, but I am rooting for just a good game. I want a good, solid game, and I think any football fan wants that. And I think it'll be a good one in the first half, but I think the Seahawks are just gonna wear down that Rams offense. That defense is just gonna be so punishing that I really don't see how the Rams come out on top of this. So I think this is going to be a fun one. I think both games are going to be a lot of fun. I think I'll dive into my game predictions since we're already talking about this. I I think this one is going to be we'll do Seattle versus LA first. I think Seattle's going to come out on top. I think the final score is probably going to be I'm probably predicting 21-10. I genuinely, as damn good of a player as Matthew Stafford is, I mean, he's gonna be the league MVP. In my opinion, he has it locked up. That this is gonna be a relatively low scoring game, and the Seattle defense is just gonna cause problems for the Rams. So I genuinely think the final score is going to be Seattle 21, Rams 10. Now, the Broncos New England game, I've been going back and forth heavily on that one. I don't know how to feel about this game because you have Jarrett Stidham, who's a high-end backup, going up against Drake May, who's going to be the runner-up in the league MVP race. You have the volatile defense of the Broncos, and you have the pretty lethal offense of New England, and a relatively good defense in New England. It's going to come down to the wire. I don't think it's going to be a super high-scoring game either, especially with how both these teams play. I do think Denver is going to come out early and aggressive at first, but then they're going to dial it back and control the game, try to control the game. I said try. I want to make that very clear for for listeners or people watching on YouTube. I'm saying try. They're gonna try. But I don't want to. I think part of also my fandom is coming out in this, and I'm really trying not to let it come out. But I think New England might eke this one out, and it's gonna come down to the wire, and it's gonna be. My prediction is it's going to be 24-23 New England. And now that I say that score, that kind of falls into the range of the lower echelon of a good scoring game. I think both teams are going to have their chances. But this is going to be very interesting, and I am excited for this game. As a fan, I'm nervous as hell for the Broncos, but I really think this could be a good game, and this could be a hell of a fun game. But I hope y'all are as excited as I am, because I'm definitely fired up. I know one of the criticisms of me doing this podcast in my few episodes I've done is my energy, and I'm really trying to bring it out here. Like, I am fired up for this game. I am fired up. This is either game. You look at Seattle versus LA, or you look at Denver versus New England. Both are going to be this is going to be smash mouth football. This is playoff football. You're not going to see the, 51-48 games. You're not going to see the, blowout wins like 31-10. Seattle could be that, but I just don't think it's going to be that. But this is going to be a fun week. This is playoff football. This is what every football fan they get excited for. Anybody should get excited for. I'm like saliva's coming out of my mouth with how excited I am for this game. I apologize if you can hear my cat in the background. But this is going to be fun. This is going to be a great weekend. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but even if you're not a super football fan, you're going to want to watch this weekend. I'm really telling everybody you're going to want to watch this weekend. You have 4 teams that are going to put everything out on the line. You're going to see big hits. You're going to see lay it out on the line plays. I mean, you're going to see whatever it takes. You're going to see guys that look injured, but they're still going to play. You're going to see what it means to the teams. And it's also going to come down to definitely in the New England Denver game, possibly in the Seattle Rams or Seattle versus LA game. It's going to come down to who makes the least mistakes, who can control the ball, time of possession. That's going to be that. It's going to be both games are going to be grinded out defensive battle games. You could also see a lot of turnovers in either game. So I think even if you're not a football fan listening to this, get friggin' ready. I can't harp on that enough. And even though I'm a baseball guy through and through. But I love me some Smash Mouth football, and that's going to be this weekend. So get ready. And, I gave my predictions, I gave my time, and I hope everybody has a lot of fun. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to this episode as I did creating this episode. This one, I hope I brought the energy. I know that was a small criticism from a couple of people where I just needed to bring that energy more. And I hope I brought it. I really hope I did. Next week, this is kind of a bonus episode. I usually am not going to be doing 2 episodes a week. I'm going to be this is more going to be a weekly podcast. So next week's episode, I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be going back to baseball. I'm going to be talking about FanFest when it comes to the Colorado Rockies, because that's tomorrow, this Saturday. So I hope whoever is going out there, I hope you guys have a lot of fun. A lot of big names are going to be out there. The Rockies front office, for the first time ever that I can think of, is going to be having fans ask the Rockies front office questions. That's going to be fascinating, and I'm really, really intrigued to hear about it. I can't go, unfortunately. I have some friends who are going, so I'm going to be getting a lot of inside information from them. And so I'm going to be covering Rockies Fans Fest next week, talking about what all went down there. I'm also going to be talking about the keys to certain players in spring training. And then we're going to cap it off with a couple of conversations with some of the bigger name players and that have been had, a couple of interviews that were done. I'm not going to say those players because I want to kind of leave you guys guessing. And we're going to be talking about other spring training news since pitchers and catchers report in about pretty much for everybody in about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get excited. Let's have some fun. Next week's going to be a blast. I hope you guys have fun. This was the Baselines to Sidelines podcast, and I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm out.